check.
We're taking a lot of gear.
We're packing.
Oh my god, this camera's so good in low light. But today we're talking about what was in our camera bags during our Cold Island trip. We're gonna go through all of the things that we brought to film this entire series.
There's a lot of it. And if you haven't seen the Cold Island trip, link up here.
We haven't made a what's in our camera bag video in a long time, and our kit has since changed since this video. So we're not gonna go in depth into like what everything is exactly and why we like it. We're just gonna give like an overview of all the things we brought. And if you want to learn more about deeper into like what those things are, I will leave a link in the description box to our blog where everything is listed.
Yeah, rapid fire, let's do this.
We have broken this up into 6 different sections because that's how many bags that we brought. Let's start it off with the video kit. I have a list because there's a lot of shit. For the video kit, the vessel that we brought all of our...
Did you say vessel?
Vessel.
I've never heard you call it a vessel.
I don't know.
We're going to talk about the medium in which we stored our camera gear.
So-
the vessel. Sorry. It transported itself in.
You can't have a video kit without a bag to put all of the shit in. So for the mirrorless cameras, for the video cameras, we were using the Vinta backpack. It is not big enough to house like a normal DSLR, but it is the perfect size for a mirrorless setup.
Or multiple mirrorless setups.
Which we had. Our main shooter on this trip was the Sony a6400 with the 10 to 18 millimeter f4 lens, which is optically stabilized. This camera setup is great in the heli because it is like a super wide lens. The lens is stabilized.
Flip up screen. We're actually using it right now to film this.
Yeah, we really like this camera. Peak design strap, must have. We've got peak clips on both of our cameras so we can easily switch on and off, take them off if we want to put the camera on a tripod or bring it in the heli without the strap being in the way.
But you also like to do the strap technique when you're in the heli.
I do, yeah.
Push it against your neck to stabilize it.
Next up is the Rode Video Micro. That mic has been with us for like almost 4 years and we've had no issues except for like the mount breaking.
The Micro has been our go-to. It's small, it's cheap, and it sounds good.
Yeah, and it doesn't require a battery, which is key.
So we basically film probably 90% of the stuff you see in this channel is probably filmed with the Micro.
And anything in this studio is filmed with the Rode Video Micro. Plus, we're not talking about the studio, we're talking about what we brought on the Cold Island trip, camera edition.
You need lots of SD cards. We brought a whole bunch of them. We're not gonna list all of them, but here is the card wallet or card case that we brought them in. It's a nice case because it just keeps everything protected and all in one spot.
Definitely did not have enough card space.
We had just enough.
We had just enough.
Yeah. We also brought the Sony a7S II, which is a full frame mirrorless camera that's been with us since, what, 2016?
Yeah, she's an old camera now, but let me tell you, she's a beast in low light, and that's why we brought it. Also, we brought 2 cameras in case one died. I think that's always key if you're filming something like this to have a backup. In this case, the a6400 was supposed to be the backup and ended up basically shooting most of the video.
Mostly because of the autofocus.
The autofocus is just so much better. Anytime we were in low light, we switched to the a7S II. And of course, on the a7S II, we're shooting with the 16 to 35 f4 because it's lighter than the f2 8, which we don't have. With all of the lenses that we brought, we also had VNDs or variable ND filters on all of the lenses. So of course, our favorite is the Peter McKinnon Polar Pro variable ND filter. The pin bend. The pin bend. And then we have 2 ProMaster VNDs as well, which we use on the 10 to 18 and the 24 to 70.
Yeah, those ones have been with us forever.
They have been with us for a while.
Tried and true. So we brought a Metabones adapter for the Sony E-mount so we can use our Canon glass on it.
We did not use it.
Not once.
Not once.
We also brought a 1 terabyte hard drive, which we use to back up all of our cards at the end of each day. Becki says that we didn't have enough space. I think we had a perfect amount of space.
We were literally like all cards full, all hard drive full by the time we left.
Yes.
I would have liked to have a little bit more space, but it was fine for the trip.
So we didn't format cards at all, and we backed everything up on the hard drive. So we had 2 redundant copies of everything at any given point.
The a6400 and the a7S II both take the same batteries, thankfully. So we brought a surplus of those. I think we had like 6, and then battery chargers for all of them. So we wanted to have enough for the entire day of shooting so that when we went back to the hotel at night, we would just charge all of them and we'd be good to go. Kind of put us in a little bit of a pickle the night we got stranded. If you want to see that one, I'll link up here. I think we made it okay.
Yeah, we did all right. And we have multiple chargers too, so that we can essentially parallel charge. So it's not like we're waiting for one battery, then swapping the next one in. We can just put them all essentially in cradles and charge all the battery, I think, in 2 goes.
The last thing in the video kit are the Polar Pro ND and circular polarizer filters for the Mavic Air. I just kind of put these in this bag because I didn't really have another spot for them. That was like kind of easy, but they come in this cute little case. They fit perfectly there, so thank you Polar Pro for sending us those.
One bag that even though we call it the video bag, it's not all video stuff. And just like the next bag we're going to introduce, which is the photo bag to find out it's not all photo stuff.
It's kind of like a smorgasbord. What is the word? Smorgasbord?
Smorgasbord.
Borgas?
Smorgasbord.
What is it?
Smorgasbord.
Smorgasbord.
Borg.
Gorg.
Yeah, I think, I don't know.
The vessel for the photo kit, Chris, shut up, is the ProMaster Cityscape backpack. Great backpack, we love this backpack, but I will say I kind of wish we had the Peter McKinnon camera bag because I think we could have fit the video kit and the photo kit all in one bag. This is the second version, it's the larger version. So it actually does fit a lot of stuff and it's cute. This is before we switched cameras, but for this trip we did bring the 5D Mark III for photos. We also shot photos on both Sony cameras. And then we have the Canon 16 to 35 f2.8. We also brought along the Canon 24 1.4, which is a beautiful lens, and also the Canon 50 1.2, which is one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, both beautiful L series glass. Not to talk about the switch to Sony, but this trip really kind of sealed the deal, I think, for you, because we legit took 2 whole sets of glass, 2 whole sets of bodies. So we had a Canon photo setup and a Sony video setup, and it was just so much, especially in a small little tiny helicopter where weight and space are priorities.
And it would have been a lot easier had I had a 50 and a 24 that were compatible on all of the Sony cameras for shooting B-roll and things, because we were doing mostly video.
Yeah, and would you say that a lot of the photos that you shot on the trip were actually just on the Sony mirrorless cameras?
A lot of them were.
Even though they're being used in our kit as video cameras, you just used them for their still photos, including the A7S II, which is 12 megapixels, which isn't a lot by today's standards, but we still just shot photos because that was the camera that was in your hands when you saw something.
It was one night when we were at Carpoon Island. It was foggy and there was this lighthouse, and one of my favorite shots from the trip was shot on the A7S II, which is this shot.
It's not known as a photo camera.
It's more of a video dedicated camera, but
yeah, use the tools you got in front of you. So a lot of people were saying, "Oh, Canon, you'll be back," or "I could never switch because of this," but it's like, dude, they're tools.
Okay, that's a separate video. We're gonna move along.
I'm passionate about this, okay?
No one cares!
I'm gonna put you in a vessel and send you out the door.
Okay, the next thing in our kit was the Osmo Pocket, which we actually didn't use, but we do like to use this little camera to do moving time lapses and things. We've been using a lot around the house for the renovation because we're filming that. We did not use it on the trip, but I'm glad we did have it. Next thing in the bag was this OmniCharge backup battery. So this battery is super dope because you can charge things via USB, USB-C. You can actually plug a 3-prong, plug a 3-prong, say a 3-prong,
You can plug a 3-prong outlet into it.
Thank you. That.
3-prong plug.
3-prong plug. I can't plug. I can't say it.
You're gonna put up a title also for the number of milliamp hours that battery is, because people care about those things.
Yes, so thank you OmniCharge for sending us that. The next thing in the photo bag is actually a video guy, which is the DJI Mavic Air, which I learned how to fly. Link up here.
Out of necessity.
Out of necessity. But it came in handy on this trip because when Chris was flying FPV, there are different shots that the Mavic Air provides over what the FPV does. So Chris would be flying his FPV drone and I would be getting shots with the Mavic, and they were both 2 completely different styles of shots, but they both lended themselves well, I think, to the series.
Help tell the story. And if you guys are curious, you're thinking, huh? FPV, what's that? Link to a video we did on that up here.
In the bag, we also had obviously the Mavic Air controller, and there were batteries, don't know where they are.
Did we lose all the batteries for a Mavic Air?
I have no idea. There's like props cracked off. Every single piece of gear is a shit show. I was trying to film this video and I was like going and picking up all the stuff that we took, and I was like, oh, we're missing GoPros. This is smashed. There's like mud and like grass in a case, like a closed case of filters. Like, I don't know.
Hey man, you just gotta use your gear.
Everything is trashed.
Next item on the list is the Aperture M9 portable battery powered light. It's basically just a little LED panel. It's basic, it does the trick, and we also used it for a tent lamp. So within the photo bag is our GoPro kit, and we're gonna talk about that next.
What is it?
Are you having a stroke? Symmetric.
So the next kit, this is kit number 3, is the Heli Kit.
As part of our Heli Kit is the GoPro bag. We just basically have a bag full of our GoPro stuff.
And that case is deadly, by the way. It holds all of it, and the GoPro shit is so tiny that it kind of gets like lost in your bag.
That was always the problem, because we never had a place to dedicate to the GoPros.
That's why I bought that case.
That's a good idea.
Target, bye-bye.
It was an actual GoPro case too.
Yeah, I bought it at Target.
It has the GoPro logo on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had 1 GoPro, 2 GoPro, 3 GoPro. One was a session. We had the Hero 5 and the Hero 6, and we used those in the helicopter, but we also used them for FPV, which we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Okay, as far as the GoPros are concerned, we mounted them on the belly of the helicopter on the tow ball mount. We mounted them on the inside center rib mount, which is usually facing back at us, but most of the time that was used to mount our 360 camera. It gave us a bunch of different angles. We also had a skid mounted camera and a point of view camera, which had a ram claw mount mounted to the crossbar between our seats, sort of looking forward at the dash with us in the foreground. I think that's all of the heli mounts that we used.
Yeah, I think so.
I've got a GoPro adhesive mount stuck on the front of my helmet, and I used that once when we were flying our parents around.
Yes, that's right.
That was the only time I used that particular mount. We love the 360 camera for this. It's such a pain in the ass to use because you have to render all the footage afterwards, and the workflow is a little bit clunky. But it gives you multiple angles and a lot of bang for your buck when you're trying to just document what's around you, and you don't have to think about using setting up multiple cameras.
Yeah, so we did a whole video on the GoPro Fusion, which I'll link up here, and if there's not enough space, that will be in the description box.
We're gonna have all the cards used.
All the cards, yeah. Batteries for the Hero 5 and 6, and we also had batteries for the Fusion, and then we had a lapel mic in there just in case we needed it.
The inline adapter is what pipes the audio into our GoPros, but if we ever needed to record audio separately, we just go old school and just take a lapel mic and literally
stick it in the ear.
In the ear cup, and then just record it on something like an iPad. Of course, the required GoPro accessories, cables, mounts, all that stuff that you would have with a GoPro kit. That was an internal fart. It was not a real one. That wasn't a real fart. That was my intestines.
How many kits are we in?
I think
This is kit number 103. We're talking about the drone kit. Chris, take it away.
Yeah, so the drone kit was basically just a container, a bin full of my FPV junk. And I had, of course, my Cinewhoop drone. Link to that video up here. If we haven't already linked to it, I think we already have. So any aerial shots that do this, that aren't the helicopter, that was taken with an FPV drone, and this was the only FPV drone I had at that point. It was the Cinewhoop. Amazing tool, allowed us to sort of, I think, take our drone game to the next level and achieve shots that we otherwise couldn't. Big fan of the FPV drones.
The FPV drone just sat on top of the pile of shit. It didn't have its own bag,
no.
But he did have 2 or 3 weird cases that the battery and the chargers went in because they're flammable, so we had to keep them in a fireproof case.
Yeah, so I had a fireproof ammo box that I got off Amazon. We had a full mobile drone factory. We had all the tools I needed to do basic repairs on our FPV drone. Anytime we had to go to a hotel, it was trying to transfer all these bags. We all each had 4 bags on each shoulder.
Full sandwich sign mode.
Yeah, we had a lot.
We had
of crap.
This huge IKEA bag just full of stuff. Anyway, it was a lot.
It actually kind of sucked going in hotels. It actually was better camping.
No, it wasn't. It was not better camping.
Also used the Polar Pro ND filters for the GoPro Hero series. They basically are just ND filters and allow you to get a little bit of a slower shutter speed to get a better shutter angle for more cinematic looks.
I went to look for them to take a picture or take a video, B-roll of them.
Look, man, if you're not using your gear, are you even getting the shot? If you're not smashing up your filters,
True.
Are you even getting the shot?
That's what filters are for.
Are you even sending it?
That's true.
Becki?
You were full send.
Are you even full send if you're not smashing your filters?
What? I've talked the whole thing. This is not really wasn't really a bag, but these are all the extra things that we had to take out and bring into all of these hotel rooms every time.
And a lot of the stuff is just stuffed into the holes between bags. We'll fit this in Tetris style here. It doesn't have its own case, but it fits right here.
Fits in here.
Which is great for efficient packing of the helicopter, but terrible when you have to actually cart all that stuff to another location.
Yeah.
And you don't have the helicopter.
It was awful.
So first item in our extra kit is the slider. What is it? A Rhino something or other?
It's the Rhino Rove Pro, I think.
We're gonna put a title up. We're so bad at knowing the gear we use.
People are what's a good camera for under $600? I'm who is she? I don't know.
I'm I internal farted.
And I'm smorgasbord. The reason why we wanted to bring the slider is we knew we were going to be doing interviews with people, and we didn't want to just have one tripod shot. We wanted to have 2 shots, but we wanted to make it a little more dynamic. So the slider really added some extra funk, a little bit of extra something to the interview.
A little bit of extra sauce.
A little extra sauce. So the slider.
Yeah, no, I thought it worked well. It was basically the A6400 on it because that was the only camera that we could trust the autofocus tracking.
Yeah.
It's oh god, this shot is changing even a little bit. Can't trust the A7S II. Yeah, it's just hunting for focus. Next extra thing that we brought was the gimbal.
Didn't
what is it?
Use it.
What is it? What is the gimbal?
Zion Crane V2 version 2.
Zion Crane.
Didn't use it.
Not even once. It didn't even come out of the case. We are terrible.
We're the worst. And in the helicopter, there's just like not room.
Yeah.
There's just no room.
My obvious priority in this trip was getting us from point A to point B safely. I'm not worried about filming anything at all. Becki, on the other hand, is worried about just trying to string together a story, making sure we have enough shots that make a coherent video, or will make a coherent video.
It's a lot to think about for like a 2-man project.
And then also like
Are we camping
also
tonight?
worried about surviving.
Yeah.
And
Where
not
we're gonna use
dying.
the bathroom, we need to eat, where we're gonna, there's a lot of
There's a lot to think about on that trip.
There
It
was a lot.
Very mentally fatiguing.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. All right. We also had a MacBook Pro that we took with us, essentially just to dump cards onto.
Yeah, that's all. We didn't do any editing on the trip because we didn't have time. We literally got to the hotel every night, charge batteries, dump cards, go to sleep, and wake up the next morning and just go.
Even that sometimes was
It
a
was
trial.
exhausting, yeah. And we had to have like a full night's sleep, like knowing that we had a full day travel, especially you having to use your brain for the flying, keeping us alive.
We also brought the Peak Design tripod. It's the carbon fiber one that we've been using. We actually made a video on that. We love it for the Heli Kit because it's made of carbon fiber and theoretically it's light.
I've got Peak plates for all of my cameras now, and I've got the capture clip too. So it's just like nice to have a universal system. Just obsessed with the tripod. Great for stationary shots. I find we get caught up sometimes in trying to like, we have to do this B-roll and smooth stuff, but sometimes it's just nice to have a stationary shot.
Lockdown tripod shot has kind of been lost a little bit, and everyone's, it's always like you just think, oh, the camera has to be moving. It's got to be moving slowly because that's what cinematic footage looks like.
I like your impression.
This is your face when you do it. So cinematic.
Is that what I look like when I'm making B-roll?
Yeah.
I think I hurt my neck. Oh God. Okay. This is the final kit. Final kit.
Is this kit number 6?
6.
100
102.
million
Bananas. The charge kit. I purchased the Vinta bag, and then Vinta actually sent me their updated one, which is nice. Thank you, Vinta. So the Vinta bag comes with the camera cube inside of it, but you can also take the camera cube out and replace it with a cube that has no like separators in it.
I feel like that's the trend now, that bags come with mini bags inside, and that's all the rage.
And at first when the bag came, I was like, I don't really know what I'm gonna do with these cases. And this trip, I was like, oh my God. So I took that case and the little tiny mini case, and basically we filled it with all of the things that we need to charge everything. So we knew when we were getting out of the helicopter, we needed to charge batteries. This is the most important bag that comes with the camera gear wherever we
has
go.
all the batteries in it, all the chargers, all the cables we need, all that stuff. It's just in that bag. It's the charge bag.
So not pictured in this video, we actually had a full lens cleaning and sensor cleaning kit in the charge bag so that we never used it, which was really dumb because our sensor was really dirty. You have the laptop charger, which we kept in there. We didn't need that during the day, didn't need to take up space in the camera bags.
We had a multi-tap block just to plug it into any outlet. And we also had a power strip, or power dome, I guess in this case. It's a hemidodecahedron.
Okay.
It had the built-in USB things.
Yep.
That was key. We had battery chargers for all the cameras. Obviously, you need that. We had a USB hub for the laptop. We had card reader. We had all the cables. Cables on cables on cables on cables.
On more cables.
And a mouse.
Just in case.
Is that everything?
That's it.
Did we finish it?
We did it in 31 minutes.
Holy fucking
Is this
shit.
video going to be 31? This is going to be a long ass video.
Ass video. We had a lot of stuff.
We had a lot of stuff.
For the most part, we used the majority of it.
We did, yes.
Yeah, there's only a few small items that we didn't use, which is pretty good.
I think now that we've consolidated our kit to one brand, we've got a bigger, larger camera bag, I think we're going to be able to pack a little more efficiently. We know kind of like what things we definitely need, what things we don't need, what worked for us and what kind of didn't work for us.
Yeah, but for such an ambitious project for us, I mean, this was a first for us, I think. I think we did okay.
Yeah, I think so too.
And for anybody who is not in the sort of photo video realm and just happens to be watching this because you just watch our content, this is what we take to create
all of these
all this
videos
stuff. Yeah.
that you see on this YouTube channel.
Yeah, and Cold Island being, I guess, one of our, I don't know, would you call it a portfolio piece? I mean, it was probably it's probably the biggest project we've done.
Yeah.
And one of the ones we're proud of just because of the sheer magnitude of it. And we tried something a little bit different and tried to make it more documentary style. And in turn, we had to bring so much crap. Like for a vlog, we'll just bring, let's just bring the A6400 and one lens and we'll
You could literally get away with that with like one mic,
Yeah.
nothing else.
Yeah, but we brought that plus everything, and we felt we had to have some level of redundancy in the cameras as we described. So overall, I think we did okay.
Yeah, I think so too. That's it. So that's what we took on our Cold Island trip. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified when we post new videos. And if you haven't seen Cold Island yet, go watch it like a movie. Just like binge watch it. I think if you watch all of the episodes together, it's like an hour and 20 minutes. So grab your popcorn, grab your Pip's Eye.
We'll link to the playlist below.
Yeah.
All 6 episodes. Do it now.
Okay. All right. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye. You were so serious. You're like, that was an internal
Well, you
fart.
looked at me like you were judging me. You're like, I can't believe you just farted and we're filming a video, but I can't help that one. That was internal.
Oh my God, that was great. Case?
That was not internal.
No, that was, I felt that. I love you so much. You're great. Okay, let's.
Did it just come up through my jacket?
Why are you wearing winter coat in here today?
Because my sweater is really wrinkly and I need to put a coat on or a jacket, and I grabbed this one. Okay?
She went straight for the winter coat.
It's not a winter coat, it's a fall jacket.
Internal part for just like.
Internal fart?
No. Did you just have another internal fart?
What?
If you haven't listened to our podcast yet, it's called Tuxedo Time.
Oh yeah, listen to that.
Listen to that. It's in the description.
Yeah. So